Windows security is supposed to be the first line in malware defense, and it's convenient and it's free, but is it actually good enough? Hey, it's Mike, and before we jump into our Norton versus Windows security review, quick little side note, if you decide to go with a premium antivirus, well guess what? I've already left some exclusive discounts in the description because I don't think you should have to overspend to protect your devices. Just saying, is it that hard? Alright, let's get right to the main event. Is Windows Defender good enough to protect you from various threats? Well, from some threats it is, but I wanted to see how well it handles that more difficult to catch malware. So I have 10 samples that I used to test any Best Antivirus 2023 candidate, and I did the same thing with Windows Defender. I planted the malicious files onto my PC and ran a full scan. It took almost 20 minutes. During that time, it said I could keep working, but when I tried to click on some tabs, it completely crashed. So yeah, it might be best to leave your PC alone while it runs. Go get a coffee, I don't know. Okay, now if we look at the results, the last time I ran a similar scan with Windows Defender, it caught 0! Yeah, that's right, 0 malicious files. This time, however, it did manage to remove 5 out of 10 threats that I planted. But still, I had to manually choose whether to quarantine or remove the malicious files, which is not ideal at all, since it ends up leaving a bit of time for the malware to act. That and a pretty low malware detection score is exactly why I cannot call Windows Security the best antivirus for Windows 10 or 11. Alright, well, let's see if Norton can show us a better score. I turned off their real-time protection and ran a full system scan. This makes for a more fair test. Otherwise, it would scan my device for threats and detect them instantaneously. So, after 10 minutes of waiting, Norton left only 1 undetected file and resolved all the other threats without me having to lift a finger. Oh, and also, if you keep real-time protection on, Norton should be able to get a perfect detection score. Of course, it's not completely 100% foolproof, I mean, no antivirus is, but according to AV Test, in their latest independent December 2022 testing, Norton Antivirus got top marks in all categories, and they've kept their high scores over many years now. However, while their independent test scores are glowing, I do need to say that Norton is not the lightest antivirus software out there. The full system scan also didn't take it easy on my CPU either, but if you want to browse or just do some light activities, shouldn't get in the way too much. Okay, now scanning isn't the only feature for any good antivirus. Proper protection against threats requires much more. So in this Windows Defender versus Norton comparison, I'm happy to see that both tools have various security features. The question is, how well do they work? For example, the Windows Defender 2023 version has a firewall, which offers two-way network monitoring to catch unauthorized access as well as various threats. Now, I saw some Reddit threads questioning if it's something you should turn off, and the answer is no. Unless you have an antivirus with a separate firewall, turning it off is like opening your front door and hoping that nobody's gonna come in. While that's, I guess, kind of an oversimplification, I do need to stress that this feature is a crucial part of overall device security. At the same time, the best antivirus picks usually have more advanced firewalls. Norton is a prime example. Norton's two-way firewall is paired up with their intrusion prevention system, and these two complement each other to detect intrusions from network traffic, including malware, all while effectively blocking everything else that might be a threat. You can customize the settings and traffic rules if you want to, but you don't necessarily need to change it. So beginners will still get a solid layer of security on their network without having to mess around much. But getting back to Windows security, there are a few more things in here you could benefit from. For example, the reputation-based protection that filters out potentially harmful apps and files. In the Windows 11 and Windows 10 Pro version, there's also a secure browsing feature that opens up in an isolated browsing mode to protect you from malware. But it's only for the Edge browser. Personally, I don't recall the last time I've used Edge, so I guess it's something that I'm not going to end up using. There are also a few things in the Windows security settings that are just window dressing, I guess. For example, stuff like core isolation or the security processor might look cool, but they don't really allow for any customization. I guess since Windows security is a built-in feature, maybe that's why there isn't much you can do with it. Sure, it's easy to use, but at the same time, the convenience-only approach won't be able to provide all-encompassing online security. So, since we're doing a Norton versus Windows Defender review, let's look if a paid antivirus can bring more value into this equation. Now, we already covered the Norton Firewall and touched on the real-time protection, but there's more behind that curtain. The PC Cloud Backup feature, very useful. Depending on your plan, you get an allotted amount of space in the cloud to put your important files. Now, I've seen what happens to people who fall victim to ransomware, so yeah, I strongly suggest using it if you get Norton, because should your PC get compromised, everything that's important will stay safe and sound. I also recommend checking out dark web monitoring. This feature comes with Norton 360 Deluxe and other premium accounts. It basically keeps a virtual eye out and notifies you if any personal info gets leaked or compromised. Oh, and speaking of more useful features, there's also system optimization tools to clean up your disk. And if you want some extra protection while you're browsing, try out SafeWeb. It marks dangerous sites and even tells you why. I'd also recommend testing out their VPN if you want to increase your internet security while protecting your online identity. Now, if I describe each feature in detail, yeah, we're going to be stuck in this Norton versus Windows Defender comparison all day long. So, if you get the app, you'll see for yourself that there are a lot of things that you can explore to increase your own security. Not just for yourself, actually, but for your whole household. You know, stuff like parental controls, hint, hint. And despite the app being pretty packed and full, it's actually not that hard to navigate. My only gripe is that a lot of features open up in separate tabs when they really don't need to. But that's more of a personal preference on my end. I'm Mr. Efficiency after all. And look, if you want a more in-depth review of Norton features, just sub to our channel. Because as a bonus, you're going to find all kinds of cybersecurity reviews, comparisons, and even news from our own AI-generated newscaster. Anyway, overall, it should be no surprise that a paid antivirus version is going to outperform a free one. In reality, this Norton antivirus versus Windows Defender comparison is not even about which one is better. It's about whether investing in a premium antivirus is going to be a better fit for you and your needs. So if you want more than basic protection, yeah, I'd say go the premium route, especially with Norton, since they have a variety of plans that you can pick depending on which features you actually need. Even the cheapest plan would greatly increase your device's security. So yeah, it's definitely one of the best antivirus for Windows 11 or 10 options. Okay, so when you're ready to get Norton, grab a very special discount deal from that box, and hey, big thanks for watching this comparison of Windows Defender versus Antivirus, Windows 11 and 10 edition. All right, I'll see you in the next one.